What does it take to change the world? That's a huge question, right? Well, today, we're going to dig into that by looking at some truly brave leaders and activists. And our guide for all this is one really powerful book. So let's start with this question that people have asked forever. What makes a leader? What's that spark that turns an everyday person into someone who stands up and fights for change? That's really the big idea we're chasing today. Now, our guide for this whole thing might actually surprise you. It's a children's book called Brave Leaders and Activists. And I know what you're thinking, a children's book, but trust me, the lessons about courage and justice packed into these pages, they're for everyone, no matter how old you are. All right, first up, let's just take a look at who we're talking about here. The book pulls together this incredible, and I mean really diverse, group of people from all over the world. And it's really important to get the context here. This book is part of a series called Black Stories Matter, and its whole purpose is to shine a spotlight on the huge world-changing impact of courageous Black individuals all throughout history. And just look at the range of leadership we're talking about. It's incredible. You've got icons of freedom like Harriet Tubman, right next to political giants like Nelson Mandela. But what I love is that the book also stretches our idea of what an activist is. It includes thinkers like Stuart Hall, whose work on culture and identity literally changed how we see ourselves. It just goes to show you, leadership isn't some one-size-fits-all thing. And this isn't just a story about one country, not at all. The fight for justice, it's a global thing. And this book really gets that, showing us leaders from South Africa, the UK, Canada, Australia, Liberia. I mean, it's a powerful reminder that heroism has no passport, right? It shows up everywhere.
Okay, so we've seen the lineup. Now let's zoom in a little. Let's get into some of these specific stories to really understand the kind of impact their courage had on the world.
Let's start with Harriet Tubman. The book just nails her story with three simple but oh so powerful words: escape to freedom.
But here's the thing, her own escape was just the beginning. Can you imagine? After getting free, she risked everything, going back again and again to lead more than 70 other people to safety. And that's not all. She was a spy for the Union Army. And then, and this is just mind-blowing, she became the first woman to lead an armed military raid in the U.S. Civil War, freeing over 700 enslaved people. Her story isn't just about escape, it's about liberation on a massive, massive scale. All right, next up, a name I'm sure we all know, Rosa Parks. The book frames her story around that one single world-shaking moment, the bus journey that changed America.
And this slide just lays it out so perfectly, the incredible ripple effect of one single action. It all started with one person, one moment of refusal on December 1st, 1955. But that one no lit a fire. It sparked a citywide boycott. We're talking 17,000 people. And they kept it up for over a year. That sustained pressure is what forced a real, tangible change, the desegregation of the city buses. It's just a stunning example of how one person's courage can mobilize thousands and literally rewrite the law.
What's really powerful is that the book doesn't try to simplify things. It shows us two titans of the movement side by side. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the voice of nonviolent resistance, and Malcolm X, the champion of Black empowerment and self-defense. By showing their different approaches, the book teaches us something so important. There can be many paths in the fight for justice, but the goal, equality, is the same.
And that fight for justice didn't just stop in the 1960s. The book does a great job of showing how leadership evolves, highlighting modern-day figures who are carrying that torch. Today, the fight might be in a courtroom, with civil rights lawyers like S. Lee Merritt, or in the tech world, with innovators like Kimberly Bryant who founded Black Girls Code. The arenas might change, but that core courage, it's exactly the same. So we've looked at some of the people. Now let's pull back. What are the big, overarching ideas that the book is really trying to get across?
Okay, the first one, and it's the big one, is courage. This is the common thread that ties every single person in this book together. And it's more than just being brave, right? It's about standing up for what you believe in, even when you are facing serious, real-world danger. Think about Harriet Tubman going back into the South, or Rosa Parks knowing she would be arrested.
But that courage wasn't just for the sake of it. It was always aimed at a bigger goal: justice. This wasn't about just one-off acts of defiance. It was about changing the very systems, the laws themselves that were so unfair. It was about making sure everyone is treated with dignity. That's why the Montgomery bus boycott wasn't just a protest. It was a battle for systemic justice.
And that fight for justice, it's all pointing to one fundamental idea: equality.
This is the core belief that powered every single action. It's this simple, non-negotiable idea that everyone, no matter their race or background, deserves the same opportunities and fair treatment. So if you think about it, courage is the fuel, justice is the vehicle, and equality, that's the destination.
Okay, so we've met the people, we've unpacked the big ideas, so let's wrap this up by asking the most important question of all. Why do these stories still matter so much right here, right now?
After looking at all of these different lives, all these struggles, all these different moments in history, what's the one big takeaway? What's the single most important lesson the book wants to leave us with? It really all boils down to one central, super powerful message. And here it is. Anyone, no matter who you are or what your circumstances are, has the power to be a leader and create positive change. It's not about where you come from. It's not about how much power you start with. It's about your choice to stand up and do something.
So, what can we really learn from all this? What can we take into our own lives? Well, first, we get inspiration to stand up for what we believe in. Second, we get a much deeper understanding of why fairness and inclusivity are so crucial. Third, we learn that the fight for justice isn't a one-and-done thing. It's an ongoing effort. And finally, and maybe most importantly, we're reminded of the incredible power that a single individual, that you, can have to make a real difference. The leaders in this book used their lives to write stories that changed history. So, the question the book leaves us with, and the one I'll leave with you, is this: what's your story going to be?